Hey everyone, welcome back to our season 2 rewatch on AGT time. Cody Patterson here along with
Along with Jay Bach. We are up to the final semifinals and then the finals.
yeah. So semifinals 2, there's the two parts of semifinals and then we'll have 3 parts of finals, Jay.
Well, that seems like a little bit of overkill, but it's
Yes. Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, they experimented with this top 10, top 8 and then a top 4. So we'll
hmm
we'll do 3 more weeks after this.
Yeah, we really do get a lot of exposure for these top few acts. They have plenty of screen time over the last half of the series. It's they really get they get their money's worth, right? Uh,
Absolutely. They're the top tier. They want to make sure they get them out there.
yes. So the top tier, we definitely get to see a lot here at the end. It would be interesting to kind of compare those minutes, these early seasons versus the later seasons, and see are the acts getting more or less screen time as we go through.
Yeah, that would be interesting because now we have judge cuts and we have a quarterfinals and a semifinals and then a just one finals performance.
hmm
So you're right. It would be interesting of compare the amount of screen time our top 4 acts are getting compared to a finalist from season 14 or 15.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're the timer guy. I'll stick you on that if if you want it.
I'll get the stopwatch ready.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But yeah, I guess in other news, we have tried to streamline our social medias, all the ways you can reach out to us. We are now at AGT Time Pod. That's the place to tweet at us, AGT Time Pod, or at Cody L. Patterson if you want to talk to him directly, or at One Man Bander if you want to talk to me directly. In addition, at or I guess AGT Time Pod at Gmail and I guess what else do we need for AGT Time Pod? It's
Facebook,
all
Facebook.
Facebook. Yes, Facebook
Yep.
group is AGT Time Pod. Everything's AGT
Yes.
Time Pod.
Yep. And Jay, I'm not sure you're aware of this, and I'm going to kind of tease it now. There might be an Instagram account coming.
Oh,
So I'm working on that. We're going to kind of see how this goes. It won't be ready. I probably won't have it ready until season 16 starts, but I'm experimenting, but just
we're
teasing that out there. We'll see.
we're dipping our toes into 2018 technology here.
Yes. In the next 2 or 3 years, we might be on the TikTok and the youngsters might be onto something else.
Oh,
So,
I'm sure they will be.
because, once we do it, it doesn't become cool anymore.
Sorry, sorry, AGT. Please don't hold it against me. Oh,
So, yes,
geez.
AGT Time Pod on Twitter, Facebook, our email, agttimepod@gmail.com. So, everything is the same now. Jay was getting ready to revolt with all of our different social medias. So, I was able to acquire all of those at the same time. So,
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you said there was some nasty little trolls sitting on some of those that you wanted, and it
Yes.
just wasn't
Yeah.
worth trying to get
Yeah.
AGT time across the board. So
Right.
you
So I,
pivot.
I was when I was working on the Instagram, Jay, I went out and was going to do AGT time on Instagram. Somebody had already squatted on it. So in 2018, somebody went ahead and reserved it and then posted about 10 pictures of fruit plates and then nothing after that. So
What does that say about you and me? Like, is that what they were trying? Is that a
I
dig?
I I don't know if that's a dig. I think it was, hey, there's these guys out there that's got AGT time. I better get on this before they come and want it.
Okay, all right. Well, fruit plate. Let's get down to business here, and we're talking semifinals too. So we talked about the 10 acts that performed in semifinals one. We're going to talk about the 10 acts that performed in semifinals two, and then we will get results for semifinals one. that is half of them make the top 10.
Wait, so we're not going to get results from semifinals 1 until after semifinals 2 has performed.
Correct. And we don't get results for semifinals 2 until the start of finals. So it's a little convoluted here. And when you only have the one episode a week, like it's really hard to how do you navigate that? How do you produce that so that you don't have too many people practicing, right? So nowadays you've got your episode, and then the following night is results, and uh, that makes a lot of sense if you have that airtime. But they didn't have that airtime here in season 2, so they had to squeeze it in where they did.
Yeah, I can see some real issues with the logistics of this, where these acts in semifinals 1 had to come back the second week. Either they hung out in LA or they had to come back the second week for about 4 minutes of airtime, and to find out if they were going to go through to the finals. And then next week, the ones that performed in semifinals 2, they have to come back to find out if they're going to be performing that same night.
I wonder if, come about Thursday noon, they said, hey, act that isn't going through, like, you can just relax and enjoy LA for a couple days because you're not going to be going to finals.
You think they gave them a little? You think they gave them a little heads up?
I wonder, or
Okay.
Maybe some of these acts just maybe saw the writing on the wall, right? The less hopeful ones.
The Kevin, the Paul Blarts of the of AGT.
Yeah.
Was like, I think I don't need to really get get a new act together for finals.
Yep, I'm just gonna understand. I'm gonna know that this is not a good. It wasn't a good performance, man. So I don't know. That's all speculation. If Kevin James wants to come on the podcast and talk to us about it, I'd love to pick his brain and hear about his experience and everything else. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Why don't we talk about these performances?
Let's talk about these performances. We've talked about what we're going to talk about enough. So, first act of the night is the Second Story guys. These are the stilt dancers. They gave us the really wonderful video package where it showed them like step touching and doing some really bad dancing, and then turns out that when you do that on stilts, it's actually kind of fun. So they keep bringing new tricks. I was concerned that we weren't going to get new tricks. How many tricks do they have up their pant legs? But we saw some like cartwheels or sort of assisted cartwheels. We saw flips. They're a fun group. I'm not sure that they're going through, but I do enjoy these guys every time.
Yeah, I do enjoy them too. And one other thing they added was some leapfrog. I don't think they've done leapfrog before.
They might have last time.
Okay.
They might have last time.
But I did like that. I did like the leapfrog. I thought that was a lot of fun. But the cartwheels were also great. They were wearing some different colored suits, so they looked
kind of
sharp.
Disco theme,
yeah. They performed to "Turn the Beat Around," which is more of an '80s song, kind of that Miami Latina feel type song. But then they were wearing, like you said, I think like '70s leisure suits of different colors. So they looked sharp. They looked good. They're a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun. Like I said, I don't know that this is the kind of act that we're going to see in the top 10, but I have no problem with them being in the top 20 at all. Piers loved it. Sharon called it pure variety. Hoff said, I thought you were a one-hit wonder, but you nailed it. So that's fine praise from Hoff.
Yes. Yeah. He said, you have grown since I saw you last. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
the Hoff pulling out the puns.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's second story, guys. They're a fine act. I'm happy to have them on the screen. They bring that variety that we don't always get from the more traditional uh, talent show acts that you see. So I enjoy them. I enjoy them a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
Uh, let's talk Southern Girl. They're our vocal trio. They're going to sing "If I Ain't Got You." What did you think of Southern Girl's performance?
So, I mean, we can kind of jump to the judges' comments real quick because I kind of agreed with them that I didn't feel that this was the right song for them for some reason. Um, yeah, Alicia Keys, they do sing some. I guess it's not really hip hop, but R&B. Is that kind of Alicia Keys?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. I will say I do have Alicia Keys in the playlist, but I think it's only
Okay.
one or two songs. I think it's only one
Okay.
or two
All right.
songs, and I may have gotten them for free. So uh I don't know what to think of this. I didn't feel it was the right song, but at the same time, I thought they did a pretty good job. The harmonies are real well. They did the harmonies well.
Yeah.
They were. I felt they were in tune, um, but there was just something about it that just didn't feel quite right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Pierce compared them to the Supremes in their video package,
Yes,
and like the Supremes, that's some big shoes to fill, right? If
yes,
if that's sort of the style you're going for. I thought they looked beautiful. I thought the harmonies were tight. They were easy to listen to. It was fun. Um, but like you, Pierce pointed out at the end, there was something not quite right about your harmonies. Sharon said there was no lead voice. It was
yeah.
all harmonies. Um, Pop said, "You've come so far. I think you're the real Dream Girls." So that's
Wow.
Hoff really turning a phrase there. Um, so sometimes I think in the interest of unity, bands or groups can kind of lose their identity, right? Like
Yeah,
we're a trio, but like maybe having that one outstanding singer out front really is going to kind of put a pin in it, right? Oh yeah, it's that group. It's that group with that lead person, not
yeah,
that kind of nameless, faceless group.
yeah. And you can have a different person highlighted each time. It doesn't
You
have to
could.
be the same person each time. It could be, and that would be fine. But also for each song, maybe you feature one of the singers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they could certainly do better with that. So I understand the critique. I generally really enjoyed this group. The I don't need that lead voice to appreciate the harmonies,
Yeah.
and I was really appreciating the harmonies on this particular performance.
Yeah. And so they've compared them to the Supremes, and they're also called Southern Girl. Should they be singing more Southern type songs? Maybe should they introduce something country or blues or something of that into their repertoire?
Um, they could try it. I
Okay.
would be sometimes there's just a style that you like better. Uh, And if that's what you want to perform, that's what you want to perform. If that's who you are, it's kind of hard to say, well, we want you to change to a country act or we want you to change to a
Yeah, not
gospel
really
act.
change, but just include that in your mix. Maybe you have that. You don't become that, but that's something you do sing along with, or do you stick strictly with just one type of genre?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. There's advantages to both, right? If
Yeah.
if you have one genre that's your style, that's what you do, then people know what to expect and you're going to sort of build your fan base that way. And if you go a mile wide, you might have a larger fan base, but you're not going to have the the insiders aren't going to be as interested, right? It's like, oh,
Okay.
they also do gospel,
Okay.
but people who are gospel are going to be like, if what you do is gospel and you do it well, the gospel people are going to get on your train. But if you do gospel and R&B and country and whatever, like, you're not going to get the people that love gospel to be like, oh yeah, this gospel group that I love, and the people that love country be like, oh yeah, this country group that I love. It's you spread yourself pretty thin over a lot of people. I can't say that that's better or worse, but I think that there's something to be said for knowing your audience.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, it's good.
All right. So who is Popovich Comedy Pet Theater's audience? There's the question of the day for you.
Yeah. Well, after this performance, it's not me.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna do something a little bit more think
Artistic.
theatrical, right?
Yes. Yes.
Think theater, but with an RE, not an ER, right? It's a little more what's the word? Ethereal?
European.
What?
Yeah, European.
Okay, so they're gonna do a performance they call Homeless Clown, and the man of the group, he is dressed as the homeless clown, and he sits on a bench, and this cat climbs the light pole while he makes a
That
sandwich. And
that was
go
the
ahead.
highlight of the performance.
It went downhill from there.
The cat climbing the lamppost was the highlight of the performance.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
should we talk about the rest of it then, or just move on?
Sure. No, I just wanted to kind of plug that in there, but yes, go ahead and talk about the rest of it.
Yeah. Okay. The cat climbed the light pole. Okay, so the homeless clown makes a sandwich. Dogs comes out, and he steals the food. The cat meows and climbs down on his shoulder. Cat pushes the dog off the stage in a baby carriage. And then this couple on a date walks by, and the cloud holds up a sign that says fur with a circle around it, and it's crossed out, right? Like a no smoking sign. It's like a no fur sign, because the girl on this date is wearing a fur, and he, I don't know, grabs at her coat or something, and it falls apart, and a dozen ferrets fall to the ground and run around the stage. That was the end of the performance. um, Jointed. The story was weak. Got a X from Piers. He did not care for it. He said thought it should be about the pets and not about the humans. Which, I mean, we had pet tricks in there, sort of playing into the what story there was, right? I don't think it was necessarily about what the humans were doing. Um, Sharon said, I don't think you had time for the whole scene that you wanted to do, which is a pretty generous way to say that was bad storytelling.
Yes.
And Hoff said it was a little bit nebulous.
Yeah. Yeah. The issue was they tried to take a story that's probably 6 or 7, maybe even 10 minutes long, condensed it down to a minute and a half and 2 minutes, and it really lost a lot of things. There wasn't a whole lot going on. He said a lot of the performance, he was sitting on a bench. There wasn't a whole lot going on with the animals. We want to see animals dancing around, running around the stage, jumping over things. This was really slow. If he had a longer show, and I'm sure he does this in his show, but he's got a long time to tell a story. He didn't have that amount of time here. He had to do something really quick here.
Yeah, he had to take sort of the highlights of that story, cram them together into this moment of time that he had.
Yeah, he basically did the Cliff's notes of his story.
I do have to tell you, there were definitely animals running around on the stage, though. You wanted to see animals running around on stage. You got
the ferrets. You got ferrets, yes. And
about
Piers would not let the ferrets.
Crazy.
Yeah, and Piers would not let the ferrets go.
No, Piers wasn't interested. I can see why. I'm feeling almost kind of bad for Popovich Pet Theater this time. Like, it just was not, just not good.
No.
The pieces are there. The potential is for something very good, but it wasn't really that moving. It wasn't really that funny. It wasn't really that good. It was just was just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. And it didn't translate well on TV.
It didn't.
Yep.
I would agree with that. It might have been better in person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Cas Haley, shall we?
Yes.
He is our singer guitarist. In his video package, he says his parents are both musicians. He wants to do what he can for his son in giving him a good life. He's going to sing higher and higher. And Cas Haley, he's a big boy. He's got a great voice, and he really appears to feel the music in a unique way. Like it
Yeah.
really just emanates from him. It's an aura around him when he's making music. And it was really cool. He had a full band and backup singers. What'd you think of the band and backup singers?
I do like band and backup singers both. Now this was the Tonight Show band, right?
Uh,
Yes.
yes, Ricky Minor. I
Ricky
don't know
Minor,
if it's the
not
rest of
not
the Tonight Show band, but it was Ricky Minor.
not Doc Severinsen.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, so the original, well, I'm not gonna say original, but when Johnny was on, his
Okay,
band leader was Doc Severinsen.
Johnny Carson is before my time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I
Well, okay.
I seem to remember like it being a deal when he retired, but I
Mhm.
was too young to appreciate what who was retiring from what.
Okay.
Like I
Well,
vaguely remember that from my childhood.
his band leader was Doc Severinsen, a trumpet player. So
Oh,
it really fascinated me. So anyway, yes, the live band, backup singers, it's always plus points for me when you get that.
yeah, and I thought the song was well performed. Like I said, like he
Hmm.
feels the music. He kind of
Yes.
lives it. Pierce called him an ordinary dad with an extraordinary talent, which I kind of want to step down. Like that is what I really want about America's Got Talent, right? The ordinary person who does extraordinary things, not the I'm already a professional who does this thing and now I'm a professional doing it on America's Got Talent. Right. There's something about the amateurness that I really love about this season.
Yeah.
Um, there's talents that are yet to be found out there, not
Yes.
talents that are already doing this thing, making a living, and they're going to try doing it on America's Got Talent.
Yes. Now he's saying higher and higher. Are you familiar with this song?
I'm trying to remember. It was last week when I watched this. I watched it
Oh,
before
okay.
our last show
Okay.
because I thought we might talk about results. So
So higher and higher. The only thing I really know it from, it's a really good song. The only thing I know it from is Ghostbusters 2. It was one of the bigger songs in Ghostbusters 2. So
okay, all right. It's been a while since I watched that one.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
And
You go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say I do have a note here because they were talking about his son. They even showed his son on the screen there. And my only comment is, we can hope that Cas Haley's kid is listening to us right now talk about his dad.
Well, I only have great things to say. I think that
Yeah.
Cass Haley
Yes.
is really a an extraordinary talent, to use Pierce's words. He's he's he, he feels it, he lives it. It's inside of him, and when he's on stage, the rhythm and just the I don't know the vibes that he gives out are. I'm just using the same words over and over. So, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And if you're not
Yeah.
watching along with us, it is worth going back and rewatching Cass Haley. He's super likable.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, Sharon, she mentioned likabilities, thinks that she'll see him in the finals. Hoff said, "You don't need the band and the singers, but you stepped it up," which is interesting. Like I said, there is something about the amateurness that's attractive sometimes. Um, if you've got the band and the backup singers, go ahead and use them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely fills in your performance. I mean, you're going to have them anyway when you go on the road and you're performing, you're going to have these backup singers and the band. Use it. It fills in your performance.
If you're doing a coffee shop tour, go ahead and do the solo act thing.
Yes. We would hope
But
that after you performed on AGT, you're not doing coffee shop tours anymore. I mean, I guess every now and then you could do some, but you're not doing a tour.
sure. All right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a place for just the man and the guitar on stage. Right. There's
Okay.
something attractive about that. Something that he owns it. But all right, that's Cas Haley. I'm feeling good about his chances after following
Yeah.
Popovich pet theater. Feels like he's really in a different league.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
What about the next guy?
Let's talk. I don't remember this guy. Terry Fator.
Something like that.
He's
Yeah.
the great and powerful, wonderful Terry Fator, our singing impressionist ventriloquist comedian. He's going to sing "What a Wonderful World" with Winston the Turtle. Winston the Turtle is going to sing in the style of Kermit the Frog. And when Winston stops singing and Terry sings, he's going to sing it in the style of Louis Armstrong. So we've got the Turtle singing in the style of Kermit and Terry singing in the style of Old Satchmo. This was just about his talent. There were no jokes, there was no comedy, just impressive ventriloquism, just impressive singing. I thought it was a legitimate, fantastic performance. It lacked the comedy that we got last time, and I'm okay with that. Right? His body of work, like I remember that he is funny, that he can be funny. So it gives me sort of that like smile on my face, that positive vibes without him actually telling any jokes. So I think he's a great showman. I think this was a great performance. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was a great performance. We got to see him do two different types of singing, two different impersonations. We got the Kermit the Frog, and then we got the Louis Armstrong, and I thought it was great. We know how great Terry Fator is, and going into this, I was starting to think, is he kind of a dark horse going at this point? We're not hearing the judges. I mean, the judges are giving him good feedback, but they're not really singing his praise of, hey, you could win this, or you're leading, or you could win it all. We're not hearing that for Terry Fator.
Pierce
You
did
seem
say, "I
confused.
think you can win."
Yeah, but I'm saying going into this, because when the
Oh yeah,
auditions,
before this
yeah,
performance, sure.
yeah, I mean, and yeah, the in the auditions and in the Vegas round, it was just more like, oh well, here's Terry Fator, and yeah, you're a great ventriloquist, and you're really funny at what you do. But some of the other acts, like Cas Haley, they're basically singing their praises from the very
Yeah,
beginning. But
tripping over themselves. Yeah.
right, but going into this, he said, yes, you can win this, but it didn't feel like that he's the front runner. Even after this performance, it didn't feel like he's the front runner to win.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember his auditions episode, like
Yes.
the end of the episode, the judges were like, "Oh, this is what I remember. This is what I like today." Of Terry Fator,
Yeah.
but here we are. So coming off of this, Pierce says, "I think you can win." Sharon said, "You put a twist on it. You stepped it up the entire time." Hoff said, "I got emotional, and I take back everything I said about ventriloquism." So he, Hoff is on board. Pierce thinks there's a possibility, like he's one of those that could win.
Mm-hmm.
But we've still got 3 episodes ahead of us before we announce a winner. So
Got three more
things can go
performances.
wrong.
Yes.
So there you go. There's Terry Fator. I, I'm loving going back and seeing Terry Fator. I We've seen him come back in so many like results shows, and he'll perform along
Yes.
with other ventriloquists and that stuff.
Yes.
Um, and I feel like with age, his technique may have slipped a little bit.
Okay.
uh, it- or maybe it's like he's a little heavier now, and I see kind of his jowls move a little bit as he ventriloquists ventriloquizes. I'm not sure the verb for that. But like I find myself watching him
Uh-huh.
when he's doing the ventriloquism and think like, oh yeah, I'm definitely like seeing his jaw or his neck, or I'm I'm watching him move. And in these performances, it's a lot cleaner. So I'm curious, maybe he's just like, you know what, I'm great at this. I'm great at the impressions. People are going to keep coming, whether my jowls move a little bit or not. So be it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of weight on his shoulders to it's a one man show, right?
Yes.
It
Yeah.
feels like him and a cast of characters, but it's really just him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And for what we know he becomes, it's almost like how did he win this, and how is he doing a full show of just this? And maybe he's part of, I mean, it is his show, but he may have then other people that come in and fill 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah.
if he how a Vegas show of Terry Fator goes. Is it really just
Yeah.
a man and his puppets on stage, or does he
Yeah.
bring on guests to give him a little bit of a break? I don't know.
Yeah. But going back to it, Jay, just even after watching this, it's still interesting to know that what he does at the end of this season, of where he is now. It just doesn't feel like he's, I mean, he is one of the top tier, but it doesn't feel like he is the top of the top tier yet.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Um he's impressive every time, and he feels like a finalist. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there's not the one act that the judges, like you said, are tripping over themselves, or are fawning over themselves, or drooling all over themselves about. He's just one of the very good acts.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why he was able to turn this into uh, such a success coming off of this, because we've seen a lot of other winners of America's Got Talent that are not nearly as successful as he is, coming off of it.
No, I absolutely. And he's been able to turn around, and maybe he just loves it so much that that's what he's given his life to, whereas other winners have decided to go on and want to do other things.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I don't know. All right, let's talk about the Faultline. This is one of the a cappella groups, rock vocal group they're listed as. They're going to sing "The Way You Make Me Feel." Um, I'm not sure what the performance was missing, but it felt thin. It felt,
it was
um,
missing instruments, Jay.
oh, come on.
It's a rock group. Where are my drums and my electric guitar and my bass?
Yeah, and I guess maybe that goes straight into what Pierce said. Wrong
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
right? If you're going to do that song, it needs to be filled out more with the electric guitar and the bass and the drums, and more noise. Um, with just, what is it, five voices?
Five
It's
voices. Yeah.
that style of song might be the wrong style of song, I think,
Yeah.
is maybe what it comes down to. Sharon said the lead singer feels out of place. Hoff said the song was a little bit high. If you come back with a song with some guts. So again, wrong song. They could do better. I like the group. I like the guys.
Yeah,
But
for some reason these guys keep slipping from my head. I can never remember these guys for some reason.
well, we had a funny like 3 or 4 like acapella groups, and they did kind of all just meld together
Yeah.
in my mind too. Um, it's really hard to say, you know, to really differentiate from the next group of 5 guys than, you know, the acapella group.
Do you think I have acapella blindness? Because
Well,
maybe my I'm not gonna say hatred, that's really strong, but my the way I feel about
disinterest.
pentatonics, yes, of
Yeah.
pentatonics, maybe it's bleeding over into the rest of these other a cappella groups that do similar things. And I think I focus more on the barbershop quartet type a cappella.
Okay. Well, the styles of acapella, it really is a mile wide, right? You've got
Yeah.
Gregorian chants clear up through pentatonics and these rock groups and
Yeah.
barbershop and, you know, pop and gospel. Like you can take it any direction you want. Maybe, you know, if people are looking for a rock sound, trying to do that with acapella is a bit of a stretch, right? Kind of juxtaposing those against each other, and that might be sort of just the best they can do. Um, so it'd be interesting to see them do something, you know, something a little bit slower or something that doesn't rely on quite the, you know, the wall of amplifiers behind the band that
Mm-hmm.
you see. Like it's just it, it's hard to do rock with just your voices. So, you know, I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass, but you know, if that's what your talent is doing rock in a cappella, like this might just be the peak of what you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe you don't do the king of pop.
Maybe not. Yeah. Uh, all right. So, Michael Jackson, you know, you got to have some chops if you're going to try and do Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, could they do like a Bon Jovi or a Bruce Springsteen, or could they do that?
I'm not sure. I'm
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what the right style is. I feel like, you know, the mid early 50s, just like free
Yes.
or early free rock and roll, like
Yeah.
that's kind of the
The
sweet spot
drifters.
for acapella. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, the, all the all those guys, right?
Yeah.
That's that's where some really great stuff is going to be. So, um, but if you're gonna ramp it up to the rock to the pop, like that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing
Yeah.
to do. All right. Are we ready to talk about boy Shakira?
You mean boy Britney?
Yeah, I guess I do. Uh, so he's boy Shakira, or Luigi, the man we've known as boy Shakira, is going to do boy Britney. He comes out in the Britney Spears style, like schoolgirl uniform and pigtails. He's got the backup dancers. At the end of the performance, Sharon and Pierce are out of their seats. Um, it's a gamble switching up the impersonation.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I have in my notes. Does he now do impersonations of different singers? So is that now his bit? Is that he's not going to focus on Shakira? He's going to do other pop singers?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
just it, it, he doesn't have great moves, and I don't watch Shakira or Britney, so I don't really know if they have signature moves that he's impersonating really. But like I guess he pulls this off pretty well for, you know, kind of switching what he's impersonating. Um, I'm feeling like I would be unhappy to see him go through. but I'm also not sorry that he had a shot. Like,
Yeah.
I, I haven't hated him. Uh, Piers called Boy Britney his guilty pleasure. Sharon called it fabulous. Hoff says, "Are you all on some kind of medication that I'm not? Because this is, he's not seeing it. I'm,
Yeah.
I find myself more in the Hoff camp, but like I can understand why Pierce and Sharon appreciate it. I just don't.
Yeah. And after Vegas round, I didn't even think he should be here. I thought there were other acts that at least one or two other acts that they should have put through after the Vegas round. Watching this and now that he's, I think, branched out into other singers, if this is the act where he dresses up and does different types of singers, I mean, I can get on board. It's not something I would maybe. It might be a Vegas act. It might be a Vegas act. Is it $1 million act? No, but it could be a Vegas act. Uh, and that's kind of his bit, is the different pop singers.
Yeah. I just don't see a venue for it.
Okay.
I'm like would I watch his DVD? Would I go to his show? Would I buy the CD? Like I don't know where you do this
Yeah,
for
I
money.
I I wouldn't go see it. It's not my bag. As Bandoloni would say, it's not my bag. And some of you all will get that joke at some point. Uh, but I could see it in a Vegas theater or smaller showroom, maybe a couple of hundred people,
Yeah,
where he does this.
maybe as part of an ensemble of,
Okay.
he's one of many that comes on stage and does his thing, but I'm just not seeing, like, I don't see him as a headliner.
No, I don't think. Well, okay. Yeah, I could see that. I could see him not as a headliner. You're right.
All right, so
Okay. Is
what did
is he is he is he one of those performances that comes out and lets Terry Fator rest?
maybe if
Okay.
Terry Fader is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I, I, I just don't I just don't know.
Okay.
Maybe that's it, like his best bet is sort of the relief pitcher. Uh, he's not a closer. I'll
No,
come
but
and
like,
take the fifth
yeah,
inning.
yeah. Terry's done 15, 20 minutes. He's done a couple of songs. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go take a 5 minute break. Boy, Christina Aguilera, come on out and do your thing. Boy, Cher, come out and do your thing now.
Okay. So how about this? Right,
Okay.
Terry Fader does a 15-minute set. Here's Boy Shakira. Terry Fader does a 15-minute set. Here's Boy Britney. Terry Fader does a 15-minute set. Here's Boy Cher. Right, and every time he comes out it's still the same man
Yes.
doing all these women's impersonations. You might be onto something.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I'm
And they
still not sure that
transition.
he's a
So
headliner.
no. He's not a headliner. He's a fill in.
Right, it's not going to work if you flip flop that. And we've got
No.
Boy Shakira for 15 minutes, and Terry Fader's going to come to a song,
No. No. No.
and then
No.
Boy
No.
Britney
No.
for no, that doesn't work.
No. No. He's the fill in guy.
Yeah, I might even find myself like looking forward to like, okay, like what's the next act? What's the next female singer that he's going to come out impersonating,
Yes.
and
Yes.
how's he going to do it?
Yeah. There
Uh,
you go. We did it. We fixed it.
okay, all right, there you go. Congratulations. I don't dislike it as much as I did at the beginning of this conversation. Let's talk Jason Pritchett. He's going to sing
Okay.
"Life Is a." Are you ready to move on? I'm sorry.
No. We can move on. It's just
Okay.
wait. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. He's going to sing "Life Is a Highway." The verses, he's got a lot of lyrics to spit out. the chorus is very much like a sing-along song.
Yes.
Um,
Now remember, he just got off. He just went and did a cruise ship gig.
yeah, this is our cruise ship guy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm taken from your enthusiasm that maybe you didn't love some Jason Pritchett.
No, I did not like this, and I will say I do have "Life Is a Highway," but not the Rascal Flats version.
Oh,
The Tom Cochran version.
okay. Um, yeah, this is a different style song than what he's been doing up to this point. Uh,
Yes.
Pierce Pierce said that I didn't like that style at all. I preferred you sitting in a chair with your guitar. Sharon said it takes a lot to put down the guitar and still feel confident. Hoff, again, I loved you with the guitar and the sincerity from your previous performances. So it felt like Jason Pritchett came out there. He's like, you know what? I'm a rock star now. I'm going to act like a rock star, but he's actually not quite a rock star yet.
Yeah.
So it felt like a guy trying to be a rock star.
Yes, that's what I thought as well. He feels like he's trying too hard, and also he is our cruise ship singer, so it's like he was playing his cruise ship audience and trying to get them all excited. But I agree with Sharon that I would rather have him playing his guitar and maybe have the Tonight Show band playing backups to him.
Yeah, was it trying too hard? I guess is kind of the best I can say. A little bit
Yeah,
hokey, a little bit,
yeah, yep.
yeah. Um, all right.
Very karaoke.
Yeah, yeah. It if if I were at a karaoke bar and a man stood up and did this song as well as he did this song, like it, I would be thoroughly impressed. Like
Yeah, yeah,
he did it very very well,
yeah,
but it still kind of felt like karaoke. That might be a good way to put it.
yeah.
All right, let's talk some Calypso Tumblers for a moment. This is the funny act because I don't feel like we've actually gotten to really see the Calypso Tumblers yet.
No, I mean I don't think we have any notes on them.
Like they were kind of yada yada. I don't know that we saw them in auditions. Yada yada through the judge cuts, and here they are in the semifinals. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Uh, they started clear back in the 80s with 3 guys. They've grown to be 6 guys now. And they do tumbling, dancing moves. One guy puts the legs behind his head and he gets lifted like hand to hand by another performer with his leg behind his head. 5 guys line up hip to hip and they bend over, and the 6th guy runs at them and does a flip over the lengths of them, like, from the back of the stage up towards the judges. It had kind of a weird ending, like it just ended. Um, Thoughts on Calypso Tumblers? This is sort of the first time that we've really gotten to see them.
yeah, and I didn't even pay much attention to them just because we don't have any history on them. I went back and looked. They were in auditions 3. They were in the same episode as Terry Fator, Butterscotch, Boy Shakira, Cas Haley, and Kashif,
Yeah,
Kashif,
Schiff. Uh
Napoleon
huh.
Dynamite.
That one.
So yeah, they were in that same episode with all those other acts that are also in the same episode here, but I don't remember anything about them.
Let me go back here and see if they.
I mean, they
Okay.
got voted through. They weren't montaged as far as I could tell.
Uh, they were montaged. Yeah.
Okay.
They were right after Second Story guys with their really
Yes.
cool intro package where I was hoodwinked. And then it was Calypso Tumblers montaged. We had Christian Stoinev.
Okay. Yeah, because it was like Cas Haley, Second Story Guys, Calypso Tumblers. I mean, pretty much the same as it is in this episode.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So Calypso Tumblers, Christian Stoyanov, Baton Twirler, the Westminster Chorus that they really talked up, but then montaged them. Like that's kind of where they were in the world of auditions. So
Yeah.
kind of an unfortunate, we didn't have anything to say about them because they haven't been on our screens at
Yeah.
all.
Looking at auditions 3J, I mean, we talked about at the time how it had such good talent in it, and looking at it now after we're in the second semifinals, auditions 3 had great talent in it for some reason.
It really, really did. That
Yeah.
one episode was something.
Yeah.
Probably because they got acts from all over the country to come to Chicago or
Chicago. Yes, they literally did. Yes. All the Dallas acts went to Chicago instead of to Dallas.
Yeah. So interesting comments from the judges. Piers said, "I'd like to see more tumbling and aerobics." Sharon said, "Very well done." And then Hoff says, "So there I was riding my bicycle along Venice Beach, and I saw you guys out there doing, and this is the same kind of energy that you guys had on the beach." What?
He's just trying to say that the way that you are on stage is the way that you are in real life.
I got that.
Okay. But the Hoff hangs out on Venice Beach. He's probably practicing his Baywatch. I mean,
just riding his bike along Venice Beach ain't no thing. I don't have swarms of fans or any problems with security. I don't know what world.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's the small town Iowan in me that's like, you don't just see Hoff riding his bike around town. Like that just isn't a thing that happens.
Yeah, out there in LA, things are just totally different, Jay. People can go to Starbucks. These celebrities can go to Starbucks and go to the beach and not get bothered.
Yeah, it must be. I don't know.
It's different when they come to Central Iowa and East Tennessee.
I think you might be right.
Okay.
We're kind of on the outside looking in on Hollywood here, but
yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap up these 10 acts here. We've got the Duttons. They are the family country band, bluegrass band, the Branson, Missouriest band we ever saw. They're going to do a performance of the song La Bamba. Is this one on the playlist? The Cody Patterson playlist?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So it's La Bamba. You know what it is. One guy's going to sing while they play guitar. The ladies are playing fiddles. There's like a 2-measure bass solo there, a drum solo, and the drummer like hands the drumsticks to another guy.
That was actually kind of cool.
While soloing, that was kind of cool. We got a harmonica solo. I love a good harmonica solo.
Yeah. Did they call the guy from the Millers?
I don't believe that was the guy from the Millers. Wrong family.
Oh man. Oh, okay.
This is the Duttons, not the Millers.
Oh.
And then the ladies did a little singing in Spanish. Piers hits the X here. I'm thinking this was a bad song choice.
Oh, it was a terrible song choice.
I would rather they stick to the country picking fiddling.
Yes. Down home type stuff. Yes.
Yeah. And this is just a little too off base for what the Duttons do.
Yeah, I liked all the little tricks they did. Piers wasn't keen on it, but I kind of liked all the little stuff they did, like with the drums and the fiddles doing their solo and the bass doing his little thing. That was a lot of fun. I mean, when you kind of featured each performer in the group, it shows that you're kind of well oiled. You're very good. You mesh well together. But they just picked the wrong song.
Yeah. And so, like, as a musician, like I play the bass and I play the harmonica and I have an appreciation for the fiddling and the drumming and how difficult it is to like hand off the drumsticks while playing the drums, and like the things that they do. Like, I really appreciate their musicianship and their showmanship, and like the song kind of ruined it. Even like
Yeah, yeah,
it was hard to see past the bad song choice to appreciate the musicianship.
yeah.
Um, Pierce said, "You managed to drop the kids. Good job. But I found the song quite annoying. It does not suit your group." Sharon said, "You are very talented. See, she's seeing the talent. You are
Yes.
very talented. But I think you had too much going on. It was too frantic." Hoff said, "You are so talented. I think we'll see you in the next round." So, based on what we've seen with these 10 acts, I can see the Duttons in the top 10.
Yeah, I like the Duttons. I know you've been high on them since the beginning.
Yeah, this one um, was their worst performance yet,
Yeah.
but I am high on the Duttons. I still like them.
And it was only their worst because of the song. Everything else was really good.
Yeah, the fiddling wasn't their best. It felt a little out of tune. Felt a little like okay, we forced our way through it.
Mhm.
We highlighted our fiddlers, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. And I do like that it is a smaller group now. They did get it's mainly all the adults now.
Yeah, yeah, sort of the core of the talent is what they highlighted, and
Yeah.
that's what they need to highlight. I can
Yep.
go with that. Okay, so there you go. There's the 10 acts from this week's. Let's get results from last week.
So I looked at I looked at the clock on the video, 6 minutes left in the video, and we're doing results. And by the time they'd come back from commercial, 4 minutes left in the video.
Oh, yeah, not a lot.
Now,
So if you were waiting to see results from last week, here it is at long last.
that's right.
Uh,
I made you wait, Jay. I made you
now
wait.
remind me, did they bring all
Yes.
10 acts back on the stage?
They
They
did.
did.
Yes. They
Yeah.
brought them all back. Yes. And they were
So they
wearing the
brought
same thing they wore the same thing they wore last week.
okay. So 10 acts just performed. The
Yes.
last week's 10 acts are on stage and in no particular order, moving on with not a whole lot of fanfare. Here's the result.
Yeah,
Like
and
I've
so
got
last
more fanfare than Jerry Springer did.
yeah, so last week they brought all 20 acts on stage at the beginning, and then it's like, okay, we'll see the rest of you next week.
Yep.
Yeah, so a lot of traveling going on for these acts for no apparent reason.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
something. It's something. Okay, so in no particular order, moving on from last week, we've got Julianne Irwin.
Yeah, and this is another one you talked about
Yay.
earlier with just amateur talent. Julian Irwin's one of those that's got the amateur talent here doing extraordinary things.
I think that's exactly like the verbiage that Pierce used. You're
Yeah.
just a sweet down home girl with extraordinary talent. The same thing he said
Yep.
about Cas Haley.
Yep.
Um, so she's the youngest performer at this point, and still the youngest performer to still be in the
at
competition. So
at 14.
at 14. Next act going through in no particular order is Butterscotch. Woo! I've been high on Butterscotch.
Shocker.
I, I, I like her. It, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody.
No.
Uh, the next act going through is the Glamazons, our burlesque vocal group, who the judges are much higher on. Um, I I might have been a little bit more shocked by this group, the Glamazons. Did you think that they were top 10 material?
I didn't think they were top 10 material. Going back and looking at last week, well, Kevin James didn't do a whole lot. Johnny Come Lately had some issues with their bass. Kashif, I don't know, he could have been a top 10. But kind of just looking at it, I mean,
Yeah,
he probably right on the bubble. I think I even mentioned like last week that they're right on the
yeah,
bubble.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not sure who I would give that spot to, but they seem to just get in under the wire. Also, we've got Robert Hatcher, our singer. Uh, Fine. I don't feel like he's winning potential. And then Sideswipe, our martial arts dance group, they're going to make it into the top 10.
Yeah, they've really redeemed themselves from season 1 because they had to pull out due to their one of their team members' injury, which I still don't understand. They could have done it with 3 in order to continue on in the show. But after not showing up after auditions, they're now in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the top 5 from last week. The 5 that are eliminated then are Johnny Lone Star, our Western apparatus trick roper guy who's just got the biggest smile on his face no matter what.
Yeah.
We're going to lose Johnny Lone Star. We're going to lose Kevin James, our magician. We're going to lose Johnny Come Lately. Kashif, our Bollywood Napoleon Dynamite, and Manuel Romero, our singer, which I could see Manuel have snuck in the top 5 out of those. I think he would be the most likely. But
yeah, between the Glamazons and Robert Hatcher and Manuel, you could go with any 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's who was eliminated. Now, I'm going to tell you, I watched the beginning of the finals just to see how they were going to announce the results of the episode we just watched. And
well,
I'm gonna
at
the beginning of the episode. But
they do it right. Well, they have to. They can't really do it after because it's the finals, right? So what are they going to do? Let the first 5 play or perform, and then let's see who the other 5 are.
Yeah, like they've kind of painted themselves into a weird corner here, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at the others, but I can tell you who 2 of the 5 are from this group.
Yeah, you can. You could probably guess them. I think, but
it's okay. I'll wait, and we'll be surprised.
We'll talk next week about it.
We'll talk next week about it. Yes.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's such a disadvantage to start the finals being like I may or may not be even performing this week.
Right.
Like you've got all these nerves, you've got all this built up, pent up anxiety, and congratulations, you're in the top 10. Now go perform, right?
Yeah. The only thing is they would have to put them in the second half of the show to kind of give them time. I mean, it's not like, hey, Terry Fator, you're in the finals. Now go perform. You're the first act.
Who was our yodeler last season? Season 1. Her name's escaping me.
Yep.
And Hoff was like, now give us a little yodel. Do it. Yodel.
Yeah.
Yodel. Do it. You don't just like, all right, congratulations, Terry Fator. You're going through. Now do some ventriloquism. Go. Do it. Do it.
Taylor Ware.
Taylor Ware. Thank you.
Taylor Ware.
Jeez.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We
have to dump all this other data out of our heads in order to make room for the new stuff.
Like, and I was a big Taylor Ware fan. I'm sorry.
You're a huge Taylor Ware fan. Yes. And Jay, I want to say I received a lot of flack from our good buddy AGT commenter this week.
Oh no, why?
Because apparently our knowledge of We 3 is lacking, and we need to work on that.
Okay.
So
well, hang on for a few years, and we're gonna get to them in our rewatch. It'll be about time to cycle back through them all again by the time we finish that. So
yep.
He must be a little bit more excited about We 3 as a group than you and I were.
He's apparently pretty high on We 3. I mean, they had a good, and I remember them after he reminded me that they're the 3 siblings who they're in their auditions. They sang a song based on their mother's journal from when she was dying.
Yeah. Okay.
So I remember that whole America's Got Feel story that they did.
Yeah, they do love a good feel story. Okay. Well, let's talk next week about how they announce these results, and let's talk about whether that's fair or not. What order do they actually end up performing in? it'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes. So, congratulations at the end of this episode, though, to Julianne Irwin, Butterscotch, the Glamazons, Robert Hatcher, and Sideswipe. You will be back again next week because we haven't had enough of you yet.
And I think it'll be good. I think we're going to enjoy this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited about the finals. I'm excited about the acts that we have going through. I What's not to love? This, like I said, this is the season that I first watched in its entirety. It's what made me fall in love with America's Got Talent. Uh, and going back, I have those nostalgic, warm, fuzzy feelings uh, of re-experiencing these things, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yep. So, want to kind of put a bow on this, Jay, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's put a bow on it. Giving out our Twitters will be all our social medias is going to be super easy. It's just AGT Time Pod. You email it, you Gmail it, you Twitter it, you Facebook it. That's where we are. AGT Time Pod, POD. If you want to reach out to our producer and co-host extraordinaire, Cody L. Patterson, it's at Cody L. Patterson, or I'm at One Man Bander. And thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you. We've got just real quick. We've got we recorded an interview last week, so we'll be releasing that at some point. We've got another one lined up in the next couple of weeks. So we hope to, once we get that recorded, then we'll get that out. So we're leading right. We're only 8 weeks from season 16, Jay.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're there, and we're gonna be here every week up till till season 16. So
awesome. All right. Yep. Well, let's remind everybody to stay safe, and I will wish you well.
And have a good night.
Thanks.